There's been a huge demand for New York City real estate from investors, both domestic and foreign, and particularly multifamily is attractive now because it's very difficult for homeowners to buy. So people are renting, and that's driving up the price of rental housing. And in New York City in particular, where there's always a housing shortage.
Of course.
And this is the largest complex in the city, so it's a pretty special asset.
How does this fit into Blackstone's real estate portfolio, which just gets bigger and bigger?
Yeah, exactly. And so Blackstone's had tremendous success in raising money for their real estate funds. And actually, this move into New York City residential is pretty new for them. They just made their first acquisition in this area. I believe it was last month. But John Gray, actually, he's the head of the group, and he was speaking here a couple weeks ago, and he said that they're very focused on the residential rental market here. So I guess this was the big play he was hinting at.
Right, because they're the largest...
the largest private equity real estate business by far.
Right, and aren't they the largest private owner of single-family homes?
Yes, they are.
Right
yeah,
now?
They were one of the first into that business.
Okay, so is this at all a little bit of a turn for them to go into multifamily, or have they been doing that?
I think that the idea is that people will continue to rent, whether it's a single-family home or a multifamily home. The theme is the same, and that's that people who may be struggling to either qualify for a mortgage or they can't afford to buy in places like New York or Miami, they will still need to be renting their homes.
Makes sense. Okay, Sarah, now Stuyvesant Town has a storied history here in Manhattan, but walk us through again what happened back in 2006 and why it was such a disaster.
So in 2006, Tishman and BlackRock partnered to buy it for $5.4 billion, which is a record deal at the time. And the big difference, well, one of the differences is that Blackstone and their partners are working with the city on this to maintain the affordable component of this complex. Whereas the previous owners, their game plan was really to come in and aggressively jack up the rents and kick out all the rent stabilized tenants. So that's one factor. And also, people aren't putting the same kind of leverage on these deals that they were in 2006. So I suspect there'll be a lot more, or at least a bit more equity in this deal than last time.
Right, because back in 2006, I mean, didn't the tenants, I mean, wasn't there just this huge uproar to what happened?
What happened is they eventually sued and won. And there was a settlement in that case which dictates how you can raise rents at the complex going forward, and that's part of the reason that it was cleared for sale, because at least that hurdle had been cleared. But I think them working with the city to make sure that
there's affordable housing.
Yeah, that they're going to maintain that component, or at least a piece of it will stay affordable. I think that's a big deal.
And Sarah, anything we read into the fact that the price hasn't really changed that much?
Well, I think there's just, there's so much demand for commercial real estate in New York City right now that it just speaks to the huge demand for New York City commercial real estate.
Right, that there's a scarcity and there's a lot of demand, and there you go.
And people see it as
record
a safe
prices.
place to be.
Sarah, thank you. Sarah Mulholland, our Bloomberg real estate reporter.